Okay, we're getting ready to do a little update in here on the T-Bird. We're going to put in a new Mummert intake manifold ported with the new Barry Grant carburetor on it, which should make quite a difference in terms of fuel economy and also power. Trouble is, those carburetors are set up for the new bolt pattern from 57 on up. The Hollies, 4150s and that type, so we're going to have to do a lot of custom fitting to get it on there. Fuel lines, vacuum lines. We've already put in a new carburetor. The old vacuum advanced carburetor was replaced with a Mallory mechanical advance. So we've already got that finished. We took a little while to get the right springs in there to fit the curve of this engine. But we got her, and we've got a new fairly new, you can see it down in there maybe. That's an alternator, GM one-wire alternator. Which replaces the old generator. Makes for a lot more stable electrical system. And a place where the old voltage regulator used to be, we got about a 50 amp fuse, I believe is in there. The regulator's built inside of these GM generators, so we don't need to worry about that externally. And over here, we've got the new parts sitting there about ready to go. We've done a little work on it already. We put this heat shield in here to protect us from vapor lock. It's for a Holly, but it'll work. We had to cut out some portions of it to make everything fit. Had to do the same thing with the air cleaner. It's an Edelbrock air cleaner, and we had to butcher that up a bit to get it to fit on there. And it's got an electric choke, so that's an improvement over the old one. And we're also going to put in a new Mummert aluminum valley cover. Doesn't do anything for the performance, but it'll make it look a little better in there. That fits under the manifold. Okay, we got a dual reservoir system here, but this is a nice patent that Barry Grant has. They feed from the front reservoir to the back reservoir externally, but it's a part of the carburetor, so we don't have to run two fuel lines up here off a fuel block. We just have to run one up. And since we have vacuum-driven power brakes, vacuum-driven power brakes, we got a connector back here. Might have to jury-rig something there for the vacuum. And we still need to figure maybe a few changes for the fuel system, but we'll give her a shot and we'll see what happens. Might have to put in new jets, kind of tone her down a bit for idle and that sort of thing. So I believe when we're finished, she still might not be able to keep up with the Grand Sport, but I mean, my goodness, there's, let's see, 56 to 2010. 60 would have been 50. That's 54. This car was actually built in 55, so that's a 55-year difference in the technology there, so that shouldn't surprise anybody. Okay, let's start getting at it here. Okay, guys, we're going to call it a day. Go and wash up and have a scotch. There's the old manifold and carb. 55 years old. Right there, and here's the new one, just waiting, ready to go in. So, we're making progress. Here we don't have our manifold in place anymore. We're going to take that valley cover off, this one right here, tomorrow. Then we'll replace it with the new aluminum one from Mummert Y block. And then we're going to start putting things back together again with the new parts. And we're going to have to make some vacuum lines and some fuel lines. But we'll get there. Give you a shot of the other side. I'm doing this so I can remember how to put it back together, actually. Well, so I can get it back together, because at my age I don't remember crap anymore. So I'd forget where everything goes. Okay. That's it for now. getting hot out here.
Jesse James by Tom and Dick. When Jesse James was a lad, he killed many a man. He robbed the Glendale train, and the people laid it sail for many miles away. It was robbed by Frank and Jesse James. For Jesse had a wife who mourned for his life. 3 children, they were brave, but that dirty little coward who shot Mr. Howard laid poor Jesse in his grave. It was on a Saturday night, if I remember right. They robbed the Glendale train. It was one of the younger boys who gathered in the spoils and carried Jesse's monies away. Oh, Jesse had a wife who mourned for his life. 3 children, they were gay. And that dirty little coward who shot Mr. Howard done laid poor Jesse in his grave. Take it, Tommy, on that banjo. He was standing on a chair just a-dusting pictures there. He thought he heard a noise. When he turned his head around, well, that there bullet smacked him down and laid poor Jesse on the floor. Oh, Jesse had a wife who mourned for his life. 3 children, they were brave, but that dirty little coward shot Mr. Howard, laid poor Jesse in his grave. Hear that guitar, Tom. Jesse robbed from the poor and he gave to the rich. He ne'er did a friendly thing. And when his best friend died, he was right there by her side, and he lifted off her golden wedding ring. Oh, Jesse had a wife who mourned for his life. 3 children, they were brave, but that dirty little coward that shot Mr. Howard laid poor Jesse in his grave. Laid poor Jesse in his grave. Laid poor Jesse in his grave. Yeah! Is that you, J.S.?
We're starting to take stuff off the old one and put it on there. We just took the thermostat housing off, cleaned it all up, cleaned the gasket crap off it. That'll go on right here. And we cleaned up the thermostat, 180-degree thermostat. We'll put that back in there. Doing this with one hand isn't quite as easy as it's cracked up to be, but thermostat housing goes around the thermostat like that. Then that hole works, just bolts on the front of the intake manifold. And we got to take that water valve off the top. It's a vacuum controlled water valve for the heater. We'll take that off and mount that over here. Take that off and mount that over there. Teeny Weenie's making noise in the background, but that's okay. She said she didn't know we were recording. We want to see how this recorder works. What's bugging it? Okay. There's the heater valve. Transplanted to the new manifold. So we're making progress. Slow but sure. Used a little, this aviation forma gasket on the threads there. That'll ensure that that sucker isn't going to leak. That's some good stuff. Okay. Messy but good. Okay, now we're going to remove the old valley cover. That's this part right here. And we're going to put in the new one. That's this part right here. Like I said before, it doesn't do anything for the performance, but it'll make her look a little sharper. I figure as long as we're tearing her apart, we might as well put one of those in from old John Mummert. It didn't cost that much, so we're going to just go ahead and install it. Why not? Okay, the old valley cover is off. That's as far into the engine as we're going. You can see the push rods there. And the solid lifters. These old Y blocks had solid lifters. So you got to set the valves every once in a while just to account for the burn and the wear on them. That's no big deal. Nice engines run forever. Alright, this is the old valley cover. We'll keep that in case we need it for a spare part for a Y block sometime. Probably like a cold day in hell. I'll never work on another one, but anyway. Too good a part to throw out. Maybe sell it on eBay, I don't know. We'll keep it around and decide later. Okay, we got the vacuum lines, gas lines connected. Throttle linkages in. We're just about there. I have to get a oil filler breather cap yet. But we're coming along. We're able to use the original linkage up to the top of the engine there, so that's good for the transmission kick down and all that good stuff. Let's see if she'll start. Hey, contact. Thanks, you ready for a test drive? Okay. Looking good, looking good.